you want to turn it in person, take pictures of it, or okay. So anyway, let me talk about it really quick. All right, so I understand that today is the due date for Honors Project 2, but I am going to go ahead and talk very quickly and very briefly about Honors Project 3, especially since I'm in the classroom and I can show you some examples. And like I said, we'll talk about the modifications for depending on how it is that you want to turn this in. Okay, all right. So Honors Project 3 is a 1920s scrapbook. All right. And again, I realize that some people are more creative than others as far as like putting stuff together. But this is an example of a student from previous years. So the gist of a scrapbook, if you've never seen one or don't mess with them, is that it's usually a ton of pictures. She didn't really go crazy on the pictures like some people do, but it's a ton of pictures. You have one topic per page. So she's got prohibition on this page. She's got jazz on this page. She's got sports, economy, the Scopes trial, prohibition, Sacco and Vanzetti case, gangsters, entertainment and movies, and then she just threw in some random facts because she knows that I'm a history nerd and I enjoy my fun facts. So she kind of threw that in there for me. And then she's got her works cited page at the very end. And then I'll show you another example. And this one, I think both of these were actually from a couple years back. So this is hers. Well, not totally different from what's previously been done. She's got a few more pictures, and you don't have to have this much information. She went above and beyond on including tons of information. Same thing, she's got it split up into different topics: sports, economy, prohibition. So anyway, you get the gist of it. All right. Now it only has to be one page, but she's got hers divided up with pictures on one side and information on the other. It's kind of up to you how you do it. There's her bibliography at the very end. But let me talk about how to modify this. So the instructions, and again, this is not live yet. This will be due before the very end of March, because the very end of March is spring break. I did post the March calendar. If you want an actual paper copy of the March calendar, I can get that for you. But I got that busted out this morning and just had to modify a few things. But the very end of March is spring break. So for that reason, I kind of had to back up the due date. You don't have like a full month. Well, yeah, I guess you would, because that Friday would be the 26th. Yeah, would be the 26th. So yeah, you have a month from tomorrow for Honors Project 3. And I usually try and give you guys a month per project so that you can't fuss and complain, even though the irony is that most of you like to wait till the last minute. So those 3.5 extra weeks that you have, I don't know. But anyway, so I have given you 9 topics to choose from. You choose 8 of these 9 topics, and I've given you like a ton of ideas for what to focus on. For example, fashion. You can talk about flappers. You know, we were talking about flappers the other day, exposing knees and elbows, short dresses, cutting the hair, wearing makeup. So you can focus on fashion, men and women, because men started wearing what we call zoot suits. And zoot suits had very baggy pants that went with them, very much like a wide leg pant. And it was for when you went to the speakeasies and the secret clubs and you went to do like the Charleston dances. They're very free moving dances, and you had to be able to move in them. So the suits were made very loosely to be able to move when you're trying to bust out some of those dance moves. So you've got fashion, you've got jazz and art, sports, very popular. I mean, this is where we talk about Babe Ruth and some of the biggest names in early sports. Anywhere from football, basketball, baseball, of course, boxing. The economy, talking about the very beginning of manufacturing of cars. We are finally there, talking about the Model T, Ford's Model T, talking about radios. Anyway, there's a lot going on with the economy and new inventions, prohibition, speakeasies, getting rid of alcohol, crime. The Scopes trial, and again, I know we haven't talked about a lot of this yet. We're getting ready to. It's talking about evolution, because before we introduced that, teaching that in science classes, science teachers were actually talking about creationism, Adam and Eve, basing it off of the Bible and how things started based off of the Bible's interpretation. That's about to do a 180. We go from teaching creationism to John Scopes, a science teacher, actually getting fired because he spoke about Charles Darwin's theory of evolution and evolving from apes. And he got fired because that was not something that was allowed to be taught in a classroom. And as you can imagine, students going home being like, hey, mom and dad, guess what I learned today? I learned that we came from monkeys. That's what my teacher told me. We came from monkeys. So he gets fired, but it was all set in motion for a reason. Like, he knew in advance what was coming if he chose to take that big step. And as soon as he gets fired, there were some attorneys that were like calling him up, like, man, I got you. Let's do this. And this case goes to court, and he actually lost to begin with. And of course, if you don't like the decision in your case, what can you do? You can appeal it. So they appealed it. It goes to the appeals court, and they overturned it. They reversed the decision, said he was not guilty, that we should change how we think, what we teach in schools. And what do we teach in science today? Evolution. Exactly. So we've gone from 180, right? Have you ever been in a science class where they talk about creationism and Adam and Eve and basing everything off the beginning of the Bible? No, exactly. So we have completely changed what we teach, how we teach. Sacco and Vanzetti, those nativist feelings come back. The KKK grows, almost doubles during this time period. The Red Scare, American Gangsters, everybody loves that. That's one of everybody's favorite parts to do. Al Capone, also known AKA as Scarface, which is a good story as to how he actually gets that scar on his face. He's at a speakeasy when it goes down. But anyway, Machine Gun Kelly, we talked about him. Bugs Moran, those are a couple of the big gangsters. And they get going and they make a ton of money during the 1920s, because what are they selling illegally? Alcohol, exactly. Okay. And then entertainment, the very beginning. This is known as the golden age of Hollywood. This is, the 1920s are a very big period of time for movies, because we start out in black and white. We do start out with silent films. Towards the end of the 1920s, we have what we call our first talkie. Our first talking movie. Again, there's sound, you hear them speaking. And then the very end, 1929. Nope, never mind. It's 1930s, my bad. I about went too far with it. But if you get into the 1930s, that's when we see our first color motion pictures. And then, of course, Walt Disney comes on the scene. Walt Disney introduces us to a much beloved character. Who does he introduce us to? He's originally known as Steamboat Willie, but we all know him today as Mickey Mouse. So Walt Disney comes on the scene. Can anybody guess what Walt Disney's very first full-length color animated movie is? He's going to introduce us to one of the princesses. Anybody know which one? It is Snow White. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is the very first of Disney's movies to come out. So anyway, you go through and you pick 8, I'll make sure I say that right, 8 out of these 9 to do. And here's how we're going to modify it. If you don't want to do a legit scrapbook, we're going to modify it to where it is a Google slide. You have to have 10 total, just like you did with your World War I project. First one's your title slide. The last one is your bibliography, your works cited. The rubric on here does tell you it does need to be an MLA format. So that's going to be a 20-point chunk right there. It's on there. I made sure it was on there this time. So MLA format, that's your last one. So the 8 in the middle. And well, actually, I tell you what, it's not. If you do a Google slide, it's going to be double that. It'll actually be 16 of information because you'll have one slide that'll be just pictures. So if you start out with fashion, your first slide should be fashion and then a ton of pictures. And then your second slide will have your information. So it tells you for your information, let's see. Each page will need a caption that is at least a paragraph of explanation. So a paragraph, 4 to 5 sentences. All right. So first slide, pictures. Second slide, 4 to 5 sentences of info. Then go to topic number 2, topic number 3, and so on. Okay. So that is a modification that if you don't want to do the actual scrapbook itself, then you can do a Google slide version. Okay. And I'll make sure that I go in and put that in the instructions. So that is the end of March. You have a month from tomorrow for Honors Project 3. And then Honors Project 4, which is my most favorite of all time, is your oral history project. There are multiple pieces to it, but the only piece that I'm going to go ahead and tell you about now, because I want you thinking about it, is that I need you to find someone to interview. That is one of the many pieces, okay? Now, theoretically, I want you to shoot for somebody that is 65 and older. And when you see the list of questions that you're going to be asking, you'll kind of understand as to why we are looking for an older individual. But start brainstorming now. Now, it will be much more meaningful if you can find somebody that is a relative. You know, I mean, I could kick myself that I did not do this with my grandparents before they passed away. And unfortunately, I've lost both sets of my grandparents. And I really wish that I had taken time to do this with both sets because I got to hear bits and pieces of stories that they would just randomly tell me, you know, and I would just like soak it up because I thought it was so awesome that they got to live through and experience this stuff. My dad's parents were born in 1929, right there at the Great Depression. And so living through the Great Depression, that impacted their lives. You know, the banks collapsed. And so when my grandmother passed away and we had to go clean out her house, she had learned from living through that experience and how her parents brought her up that you need to put money in safe places in case something goes down, you know, have money for a rainy day, so to speak. And she had money everywhere. It was like the coolest Easter egg hunt you've ever been on in your life, because what you're finding is not jelly beans and candy. What you're finding are like $20 and $100 bills that she had in sock drawers, in old coffee canisters hidden in the cabinets and closets. She had it put in pockets and suitcases. She had money put underneath her mattress. She had money put, I mean, so many places. It was crazy. I didn't even know how much money we found. Like it was thousands of dollars that we found hidden throughout her house. And it was because of that experience and how her parents probably encouraged her, because obviously she would have been very young during the Depression, but lived through World War II, was a nurse during World War II, you know? So anyway, for obvious reasons, I would rather it be a relative, but if you don't have anybody or can't get a hold of somebody, then, you know, a neighbor, family, friends, a great resource here at school. And this is, I'm holding on to this resource because, you know, that way you guys can't give me any excuses. Mr. Lamb, one of our custodians, has got some phenomenal stories that he will share you. He remembers being in school when Kennedy was assassinated. I mean, he's got some amazing stories to share. So we have a resource here at school. So that is not an excuse that you can't find anybody to interview. Okay. So that is coming. I'm going to check the chat. Does anybody have any questions about anything before we get into the meat of it today? Go ahead. Well, he is one of our custodians. You don't see him as much in the high school anymore because he helps with other stuff now. Like he's helping drive buses in the afternoon. I think he's helping a lot at the middle school right now. Yeah, okay. But anything else? Questions, comments, concerns about anything? I'm going to hit the bell ringer super fast. We're going to finish your packet. So if you want to go ahead and pull that up on Google Classroom, I will say this, and I'm not pointing anybody out, but if you did not turn in your IDs and IQs yesterday, and again, I'm not going to look at anybody specific or call out names, but if you didn't turn it in yesterday, it is late, but better late than never. So get those IDs and SQs turned in today. Today, your packet is due. We are finishing that first page front and back in your packet. Please don't forget to submit your packets. Now, there is one last thing. There's a few of you that have finished the World War I project. I pulled up the World War I project on the individuals that have completed it. And again, nobody in particular, but if you have already submitted it, I would go back in and double check on a few things so that you don't lose points. I don't think there's anybody in this class that did it. I think it's third block, but make sure you've got your order. Title slide should be first. Your 8 information slide should be next, and then your works cited slide should be at the end. I think that was somebody in third block that had put it in the wrong order. Double check on that. Double check that you did include a works cited slide. I think there were a few people that had left that off completely. Go back and check and make sure that you've given me at least 2 to 3 sentences or 2 to 3 bullet points. Again, I don't really remember who didn't do that, but now some of you went overboard. Some of you gave me like a ton of information. Not necessary, but still, good job on that. But just go back and double check a few things. If you didn't include pictures, if you didn't include information, if you didn't put it in the right order, if you did not put in a works cited slide, just double check. Double check. It's not due till tomorrow, so you've got time to go back and double check those things. Okay, that is due tomorrow. Now, bell ringer before we get into finishing your packet. Let's talk about Wilson's legacy. What was he able to accomplish during his presidency? He did get us through World War I. He pushed through the bill that created the Federal Reserve, which is the banking system that controls all of our individual banks. He is going to be responsible for continuing with progressives' ideas with busting up trust. He is, I'm trying to think of the big things that we've discussed in class. So again, thank you. I'm sorry. Yes. So his 14-point peace plan, where he included the League of Nations and got that established. That's terrible. I'm drawing a big blank. But the 14-point peace plan in general, even though a majority of it was unfortunately ignored, that was a big one. So, all right, let's move on. We got stuff to do and something fun. Hopefully, guys will think this is fun. All right, let's get to it. In your packet, all that is left is that front page and that second. You've got the charts and then you've got the timeline. So let's knock this out. And then we've got to prepare and review for your World War I quiz, which is, I'm sorry, it's Monday. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. It's Monday. Please don't key my car. It is Monday, but at least I didn't give it to you on a Friday. All right. It is what it is. All right. So your chart. So here's what you got to do. It says European alliances had pulled one nation after another into World War I. President Wilson diligently tried to maintain the United States' neutral position. However, German U-boats attacked merchant ships, and Germany tried to entice Mexico to ally with Central Powers. Americans finally decided to help the Allies. Unfortunately, the terms outlined in the Treaty of Versailles to officially end this war were merely set the stage for the next one, World War II. Okay, so we're just given the cause and effects of these major events. Number one, the event is the Archduke Franz Ferdinand is assassinated. Now, the cause of his assassination is civilians rebelling. And I'm going to try and give you short explanations. So number one's cause is citizens rebelling. And hopefully you guys know the answer to the effect. What is the effect of his assassination? Started World War I. Yes, started World War I. And you need to know that. That's a quiz question. It's also going to be a midterm question as well. All right, the second event is the Battle of the Marne, and I'm very sorry, we don't have a whole lot of time to get into individual battles. We will do more individual battles in World War II than the time we take on World War I. The Battle of the Marne is one of the first major battles during World War I. The cause of this particular battle, and here's your answer, stop German advances. Stop German advances. We were trying to stop, or the French were trying to stop the Germans from advancing into French territory. All right, the effect is that it was the first Allied victory. So it is an Allied victory. And normally we would do a map activity too to kind of piece all these parts together, but I cut it. Didn't want to, but I did. All right, number three's event is German U-boat sinks the Lusitania. Now, the cause of it is because the Germans had put in what act? Let's run S. Sussex Pledge. So, yeah, the cause is the Sussex Pledge, S-U-S-S-E-X, Sussex Pledge. And what is the effect of, go ahead. There you go. Pushes the U.S. into the war. We were dragging our feet. We needed just cause, but it's going to be one of the things that will push us into war. All right, number four's event is Congress passing the Sedition Act. And Sedition Act is referencing basically limiting your First Amendment rights to speak out against the war, okay? All right, so the cause is, I already said the answer, speaking out against the war. And the effect, does anybody remember the side effects? Like what would happen if you did speak out against the war or speak out against the U.S. government? Jailed, or if you were an illegal alien, you could be deported. So jailed or deported for your effect. Yeah, just a little bit. All right, number 5, we didn't talk about Russia's point of view very much, besides saying that they had a revolution and they came out of the war and they were not invited to the peace treaty. But the event that Russia signs the treaty of, and I'm not good at Russian, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. You can try to pronounce that on your own. But the cause of that treaty is the Russian Revolution. So that's your answer for the cause. Russian Revolution. So the Russian Revolution happens. Vladimir Lenin comes into power. Russia falls to communism. They write the treaty, and the effect, the treaty, what is included in the treaty is that Russia pulls out from the war. That's your answer for effect. Write that down. Russia pulls out of World War I. All right, and last but not least is Germany signs the Treaty of Versailles. The cause is that the Central Powers lose the war. Central Powers lose. The Big Four are going to meet and discuss what goes down. Germany has to sign the treaty, and the effect is after Germany signs the treaty, the effect is what? That ends World War I. There you go. Ends World War I. All right, is everybody good so far? We're going to go to the next page, which is the timeline. That won't take us but just a minute. Let's knock out this timeline very quickly. All right, timeline is talking about pieces of weaponry. World War I was the first war in which many technical weapons of warfare, such as airplanes and tanks, were used. Number one, describe the two types of land vehicles that are mentioned and tell when they were produced. So we have talked about the Zeppelin, and we've also talked about airplanes being considered military vehicles, but that's not a land vehicle. The land vehicle was 1912, the Napier. Napier, Napier, the Napier. That was an armored British car that was produced. Oh, and yeah, never mind. So we've got the Napier, and then also you can consider, hold on, wait a minute. Yeah, I was getting ready to say, no, the first tank, September 1915, the first land ship or tank is demonstrated. Look at that. They name it Little Willie. Anybody look to see how fast it goes? Yeah, 3 miles an hour. 3 miles an hour. Man, that's just, it makes me think of one of those old dumb movies to where somebody's standing there screaming, something's coming towards them, but it's like barely moving and they're just standing there screaming the whole time. Moves a whole 3 miles an hour. All right, number two, name 3 weapons that were first used by Germans when they were utilized, my bad. All right, so April 1915, Germans are going to use chlorine gas. April 1915, gas. That's one. Number two, let's see. All right, so they've got the Zeppelin, but they don't actually use it until May of 1915. May 1915 is the Zeppelin. And then you can put July of 1915, flamethrower. So we've got the Zeppelin, chlorine gas, and flamethrower for number two. All right, number 3 is a follow-up question. When chlorine gas was first used as a weapon and what protection was provided? It was first used April 1915. No, wait a minute. Is that when it was first used? Hold on. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, first used April 1915, and then we get gas mask July 1915. So obviously a gap in between those two. And as you know, when we have to create something quickly, it might not always be the best quality, but it's something better than nothing. It almost looks like a potato sack that we put like goggle eye holes in, So first ones are pretty rough looking. Fun facts. Anybody remember some of the first individuals to be given the gas mask because we know that they needed protection? Our machine gunnists, right? Like we got to make sure we protect our machine gunnists because those are going to be the guys that they're going to try and take out first because they're doing some of the most damage. Number 4, describe 2 types of guns that are mentioned and tell when they were produced. So we've got the Browning machine gun. Browning machine gun, 1917. And then you could put Big Bertha in there with the guns. The 1914 Big Bertha, the howitzer gun, fire a 2,200-pound shell over 9 miles. And last but not least, number 5, a good invention to help our airplanes out. What improvement in air warfare did the British implement in 1916? What did they create? Tracer bullets. Yeah. Tracer bullets. Every 7th bullet is a tracer so the pilot can see his stream of fire. Tracer bullets. Do you know what the lifespan of a air pilot was during World War I? Average lifespan? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah. So that's not really a position that most people would flock to, you know. I mean, mostly a lot of air pilots were volunteers. And I think they were volunteers based off of the excitement of the opportunity until they realized how deadly of a position that was. Again, a 2-week lifespan. It's pretty scary. Again, watch Fly Boys. Anybody seen Fly Boys? Any movie lovers in here? Yeah. Okay. All right. What was it? I feel like I was going to talk about something and now it's gone. Oh well. All right. Here's what I've got for you today, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. If you don't like it, don't tell me out loud because I'll probably cry. It took me longer to do than what I had anticipated. All right, let's see how this goes. And if you're joining us through Zoom, this might take a second to pop up before I can hit the present button. Please try not to cheat and look at the first few questions. It might show it. I don't know. Internet is moving slow. Has it been that bad for you guys the last couple of days? Mine has just been like snail pace, moving slow. All right, so we have to review. We got to get ready for your World War I quiz that's on Monday. Not that I won't take time to do a quick walkthrough on Monday, but you've got a lot of questions, not so much that'll be on the quiz, but there will be a lot of questions that will be on your midterm. We're going to play some Jeopardy. We're going to play some Jeopardy. So here we go. And I didn't do the traditional, you got to put your answer in the form of a question. I didn't do it that way, but anyway. All right, so we've got 5 categories. We've got the beginning, we've got the home front, people, changes, and post-war America. All right, so I do encourage you to participate. And of course, I do want my virtual people to participate as well. I am going to have myself a little score sheet. And you do have to yell out your name if you want to be the first to answer. And however many points you rack up, and I'm just going to go by tallies. You're not literally going to get 100, 500, whatever. I'm just going to put down tallies. You're going to get however many points, tallies added to your quiz grade on Monday. All right, so I encourage, so shout out your name so I know who to call on, especially if you are doing this virtually, okay? So I'm just gonna go ahead and randomly select. All right, we're gonna do it a little bit different than we would normally in class. So I'm gonna pick the question, all right? And if you wanna be the first to answer the question, don't say let me say this, don't shout out the answer. If you're virtually, you're gonna shout out your name and I'll call on you, unless one of your fellow classmates in person tries to jump on it first. Okay, all right. How were citizens encouraged to help pay for the war?
Hey, Miss Walker.
Sorry, Julian beat you to it. You gotta be quick, man. Gotta be quick. Oh. Good answer. What were you gonna say? Oh God, I'm so bad at this. I'm so bad. I haven't played games in a long time. All right, you got it. I'm a little rusty. Okay, all right. So my virtual people, man, y'all got to be on this. Y'all got to be quick. Okay. Oh, geez, Louise. I don't have a way to mark out which one I did. That was home front. I'll mark it out on the board. That way I can tell it. Okay. All right. Next question is coming from the category of people. We're going to do people for 400. Here's your question. Name the leader who took over in Russia when they fell to communism. Gabe is on it. What's your answer? You. I did. I realize that now. Let's see. He said it's Lenin. It is. It is Lenin. Yes. All right. Gage is now on the board with points. All right. Let's keep it rolling. All right. Let me mark this out on the board. That was people for 4. Okay. All right. Let's keep the party rolling. We're going to jump to the beginning for 100. What foreign policy did the U.S. revert back to at the beginning of the war? It's a tough one. What do we think? This is actually something old. We talked about this in chapter 14. It's the opposite of imperialism. What's the other ism?
Isolationism.
All right, who was that?
Aiden Green.
All right, let's see. Is Aiden right? It is. It's isolationism. All right, Aiden is on the board. Yes. Okay. I'm going to mark it. Okay. Isolationism. Yeah, that was good. That was good. Okay. All right, let's go to the only category I haven't picked. Well, we've got 2 categories. Let's go to changes. Changes for 200. What new military vehicles are used in World War I? Gage? All right, Gage said tanks and airplanes. I'm going to give it to you because there actually was a lot that you could have said. Yeah. So airplanes, Zeppelins, tanks. We talked about the Napier, which I haven't mentioned yet until today. So there's a lot that you could choose from. So chosen from. Anyway, you get it. Okay. And that was changes for 2. Okay. Let's go to post-war America for 500. Who becomes president in 1920 and what was his new word to usher in the 1920s post-war America? Julian? No,
Miss Walker.
you cannot cheat. You cannot look.
Miss Walker.
Who's this?
Abigail.
All right, what is it?
President Wilson. Normalcy.
No, it was Harding.
Harding, no.
Yes, we did talk about him very,
Harding.
very, very briefly yesterday to intro to the 1920s. He does coin the phrase normalcy. So I'm gonna throw you a bone. You did have the normalcy down. Okay, all right, but it was Warren G. Harding. Okay, that was post-war for 5. Okay. Fantastic. Let's go to the beginning for 4. Who were the Allies, aka the Triple Entente? This is how it's worded on your quiz. You better know them as the Triple Entente. I refer to them as the Allies, but I think it's actually on your quiz. Julian?
America, Great Britain, France.
I should have reworded my question. I did put the in the US. I wasn't sure if I put like who was the beginning versus, okay. All right, good deal. Yeah, so you got Great Britain, France, Russia, Italy, and eventually the United States after we are, quote, pushed into war. So again, that is how it is worded on your quiz, okay? They are nicknamed the Allies, but they are known as the Triple Entente. Triple Entente. There we go. Okay. All right, that was topic 1 for 4. Let me mark that out. Okay. All right, let's do people. Let's do people for 2. People for 2. All right, what American general was put in charge of the forces at the Argonne Forest Campaign? Ooh, good one. There's only a couple of generals we've even talked about. So who is it? What? Anybody online before I just show you the answer? Anybody? It was Pershing, General John Pershing. Oh, well, missed that one. Probably would or would not. Oh, okay. All right. Let's go changes for 4. Changes for 4. Here we go. All right. To conserve energy during the war, what did the Fuel Administration introduce? All right. I'm going to throw you a bone on this one. Now, this is on your quiz. Okay. And I will remind you about it on Monday. We have this in place still today. All right. It affects us twice a year. And it's getting ready to affect us again before Easter. Before Easter or after Easter? I forget. Julian? All right, Julian said, is it daylight savings? It is. It is daylight savings. Daylight savings. Yeah. So if you had to guess, who is daylight savings supposed to be there to help during this time period? Factory workers, farmers as well, because it does adjust their schedule as far as how much sun they have in the morning, the evenings, all the things. All right, that was topic 4 for 400. Okay. All right, let's go to post-war America for 1. Post-war America for 1. What was one of the conditions of the Treaty of Versailles? And there's a lot that you can choose from. Gage, saw you first. All right, he said that Germany accepts blame for the war. Oh man, out of all the ones that I could have put, I could have listed a lot. That is literally the one that I chose, man. Just on point, right? Is that what y'all say? Is that the cool thing? On point? Yeah. Just say I'm right. Okay. Okay, fantastic. We're going to go back to home front. We're going to go home front for 2. All right, come on, my virtual people, look alive. What were personal gardens called that people planted at their own homes?
Victory Gardens.
All right, is that Aiden?
Yeah.
Okay, Aiden says Victory Gardens. It is Victory Gardens. Fantastic. Hey, well, you know what? I'm trying to give them a shot. Y'all were fast on the gun, and y'all actually have multiple points already. Virtual people need to go move faster than you guys. All right, which one was that?
That was home front
For what?
2.
It was 200.
Are you sure?
Just click on 200 and see if it's the same question.
I feel like that was like 100, but I will double check. Okay. All right. All right. I really did think that I clicked on 100. Okay. Next. Moving on. Have I got 2 from each one? Yeah. All right, let's go post-war America for 3. What new federal agency was created after World War I because of the Red Scare riots and union strikes?
FBI.
You're going to have to like me or something because I can't, you know what? I'm weak on my peripheral vision. All right, Aiden said, say it again.
FBI.
FBI.
Right?
It is. It is FBI. Okay. All right. I got to go back to our board.
You can probably just hit space.
That was 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's do home front for 1. Home front for 1. All right. Who took over the jobs left behind the
Sarah, I got it.
Who took over the jobs left behind the men that had either been drafted or volunteered to fight? Who said that?
Alyssa said.
Me, Sarah.
Me, Sarah. Okay. What's your answer, Sarah?
Women and minorities.
Women and minorities. All right. Good deal. All right. Sarah is on the board. I'm trying to throw them a bone. All right. Throw them a bone. It's hard. You can throw your hands up a lot faster than they can see and respond. Shoot. What number was that?
100 for home front.
Okay. All right, let's go beginning for 300. All right, I'm gonna try and watch. All right, who were the Central Powers, aka the Triple Alliance? Gage.
Austria, Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, and Germany.
All right, so he said Germany, Austria, Hungary, and Ottoman Empire. What? What?
That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay,
I'm not gonna add something there.
there we go. Got it. I think those two are the ones that usually trip people up because I'm guilty about calling them Central Powers and allies, but you also have to make sure you know what they are also referred to as. And that was beginning for 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do people for 1. Who is
Woodrow
it?
Wilson.
Who is it?
Woodrow Wilson.
Oh man, is he right? Yes, it's Wilson. It is Wilson.
That was the title.
All right, people for 1. Okay. Let's see if we can squeeze in a couple more and then we'll stop. One more. Should we do Final Jeopardy question or should I just pick another one?
What's the bit? What do you
Like Final Jeopardy,
I don't know. Just do it.
maybe it's
Just do it.
harder. I don't know if I made it harder. I'm pretty sure I made it harder. Let's say, ooh, let's make this one interesting. All right. You got to be super fast on this, either saying your name or raising your hand super fast. 5 points if you get Final Jeopardy. All right. Here's the topic. The topic is side effect of war. I ain't said anything yet. Wait. You guys hit the question. Let's look at the question.
Oh, I thought we were just listening.
How was the Treaty of Versailles a direct cause of World War II, Gage?
So they made Germany mad because they like demilitarized them and pressured them and made them pay so much money that they wanted to retaliate later.
All right, so he gave us the explanation. Say it one more time.
Oh Lord. They demilitarized them and
Demilitarize,
made them pay a bunch of money.
reparations, pay money,
Made them take blame for the war.
take blame,
And then they wanted to retaliate.
wanted revenge to retaliate.
Guilt clause thing.
All right, accept blame, you got that. Pay war reparations, you got that. Demilitarize.
I didn't get
The only thing you did not say is lose territory and colonies, which I didn't really emphasize that when we discussed it. Because you know how I don't know if you know the saying, to the victor goes the spoils, you know? Well, one thing that the Allies did when they won is they started chipping apart Austria, Hungary, Ottoman Empire, and Germany and split them up, took away territory and colonies. So not bad at all to get all but 1. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you found that to be interesting, enjoyable, all
Could we
the
do a
things.
Kahoot?
Say that again.
Could we do a Kahoot instead of a Jeopardy for our study? Like, can we do that for our midterm? Would that be okay?
All right, I'm gonna write down these ideas. I am still working on being more tech savvy and cool. Yeah, I know, you kids and your Kahoot. Okay. All right. I'm making myself a note. Just trying something different, mixing it up a little bit. All right. So that's it. Make sure that you don't forget what is due today. Don't forget honors project. Don't forget your packets. Tomorrow, get up, bell ringer, make sure your World War I project's turned in. We will review Monday. We will quiz Monday. We may or may not intro into the 1920s, but that is our last topic before midterm. Midterm is coming. All right, does anybody need me? If not,
Miss Walker.
Yep.
So I'm working on the project right now, and you know how we have to add like the favorite music, movies, TV shows, and books?
yes.
Well, it has options on here for that, and like it's not letting me edit it because I click, hold on, I'll show you my camera. Don't want you to see me because I look bad. Wait, how could Okay. So, can you see it like this? No.
There we go. Oh,
Okay. So I'm under this and I click this. This is for books. I click this, edit privacy, and it says use the audience selector to choose who can see the new books you add. And it's a little plus symbol right there. Sorry, it's not focusing, but there's no plus symbol. And like, for example, you have like a featured on your Facebook, like 6 features on there, like pictures, and that's down right now. It's saying that it's unable to because like technical whatever. So it's on Facebook's part, but like I said, it's not letting me because I created like an actual Facebook just because I thought that'd be easier, but it's not letting me add none of those. Like there's no option to add none of those.
Okay.
So I was just,
How about,
and I even looked up templates for that.
well, I was gonna say as an alternative, an idea would be to just put a post in there and have that information listed out.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. I sent you an email.
Okay, yeah. I haven't had time to check emails this morning, but that,
Yeah, I
yeah,
figured
I would say that would be an alternative.
Okay, so I can just add like favorite music dash and whatever.
Right.
And for the hobbies, and I mean, like it's not showing, like his birthday doesn't show up on the intro. Neither does his political party or affiliation. So I put the affiliation right here in his bio. Would it be okay if I put born and then the date he was born?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, because actual Facebook is different from the from a template.
Right.
So it's okay. And even for the contact information, is it okay if I add that as a post?
Yes, that is fine. Yep. Yeah,
And for the
go ahead.
for the albums, does there have to be like 5 pictures in each album?
Yeah, there should be, I don't have it in front of me. It should be 2 albums and 5 pictures per album.
Okay. Yeah, I was just making sure. And I also looked up templates for friends and they don't have any templates big enough to cover 15 pictures of people that would be friends with my figure. And I would have to add people and get accepted in order for it to show up on the actual profile.
Well, another alternative there as well would be to, if you can, let's see, if you wanted to attach like a Google Doc that you've got pictures on. I don't know how easy it would be to do a post and have pictures put in the post of the people. I don't know that
I think I could do that.
Okay, yeah. I mean, whichever way you think would be easier to do it.
Or would it, or could I just make, like you said, like a Google Docs of like 15 people? Do I have to have their names or whatever in it?
Yes, yeah, you do need to have it labeled who they are.
So could I just make like a PowerPoint then, just a 1-slided PowerPoint? Because like it's easier to add text box with that instead of docs, because docs is with lines, slides ain't.
That's fine.
Okay. I was just making sure about that because I don't know why and it doesn't show his religion on here either. So could I just put that as a post as well?
Yes.
Okay. Because I already have like all the significant facts and then just like some random posts. And would you want me to friend you on here so you can see everything?
You can, yeah. That would probably be the easiest way to allow me to see everything.
Okay, I'm gonna do that now.
Okay.
Jennifer Walker. Which one is you? I don't think none of them are.
Can you like zoom up a little bit to it?
It's so glitchy, you can't see it. One lives in Wilmington, Mooresville, South Houston, Jersey City, New Jersey.
All right, so here's what you're probably gonna have to do to find me, because I actually have my first maiden and last name, so it's Jennifer Graves, Graves, Walker.
Are you related to Robert Graves?
That is my daddy.
Oh my gosh, that is wild. Okay. Find friends. Well, now it's not like okay. Um got you.
Yep.
Wait, you studied at UNCG?
That's me.
Okay. Well, it's just letting me follow you. So if you get a follow request, that's me, Thomas Edison.
Okay, good deal.
Okay, so I can just make posts for all of those instead, and then the Google Slides.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is as long as everything's there, you're not gonna lose points if it's not in a certain spot, as long as you have the stuff.
Okay, I got you. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. All right, does anybody else need me? If not, I gotta let you go. Nope, maybe. Is that a, y'all just still hanging on for the fun of it?
We're just having so much fun. I don't want to leave.
Well, I don't know if it's that or,